How are you? And here we go with another amazing guest.
Here we go again with another amazing guest, Nancy Spano. So excited to have her here today. Neil,
I
Nancy, oh, go ahead. Who's that? I was just
no,
going
I
to
just wanted to
introduce you.
say hello.
Hi, Nancy. So happy to have you here.
Hi.
So,
Thank you.
really quickly, quick introduction on Nancy. Nancy is an author of the book Stroke of Love. She is a breast cancer survivor and a stroke survivor, and her story exemplifies the true essence of building resilience. And she's going to share her journey, a little bit about her ingredients for success, for building resilience, and her insights into vulnerability, building community, and just building unwavering hope through really challenging circumstances. Welcome, Nancy, to this special edition of the Stay on Course podcast.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
And
you.
Nancy, before we get started, just quickly tell us, what is your favorite food?
Well, does it have to be like real food or can it be like,
Whatever. It could be whatever you
oh,
choose.
all right, it's ice cream all the way. Like,
Ice cream.
yeah, I could eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Neil, how about you?
Oh,
What do you think about ice cream?
I'll have ice cream. That's fine. No problem. Yeah, I love ice cream.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it too. Nancy, we're going to talk about building resilience today, but just give us a little bit of a background of the book and who you are.
Okay, so a little bit of the background. When I was about 18, I had some repressed memories about abuse that I suffered as a younger child. And they all actually came to the surface during a Dr. Phil show. Dr. Phil's topic was about abuse within the family. And that started the rabbit hole, I guess, that I started to I don't want to say climb down, but fall down, which led to therapy and medication and figuring out who and why and where and what. And um, unfortunately, suffered with a lot of depression and anxiety as a young teenager due to the repressed memories. It wasn't until experiencing a stroke when I was about 46 that I had a conversation with God, and God said to me that he could take me at that moment, but he chose not to. And the reason he chose not to is because I had a mighty purpose, and my purpose was to share my story. And actually, he said I needed to go back down on that stretcher and share my story and change lives. And it was like a whirlwind of emotion. God sort of took off, and my father, who's deceased, came in and he held me from behind and he said to me it was all going to be okay. And it's actually a little crazy because today is my father's 18th year anniversary. So I don't find any coincidences in that.
Wow.
Um, and it's been a rough day getting through it. But so my dad was there and he said to me it was all going to be okay. And it was like an emotional tornado. And the trajectory of my life has completely changed 180 degrees since that moment. And I've been on a journey of networking, speaking with authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, and I am like, the sky's the limit.
And writing a book, right?
Writing a book.
Amazing.
Wow. Wow.
Neil, I think it's a movie. She's got a movie here.
I'm sure she does. And this is where it's really interesting. One of the projects I'm doing, I guess, that I'm offering with Storehouse Media Group is take your book to movie. And the way we're doing it is we're really focusing on creating a short so that you have something that can go to film festivals, go all the places, and not be as expensive as a film. And then once you can present that story to the right people, you'll end up with a potential big thing. Because why go with a full-fledged feature and put it out there if you don't know if it's the marketplace, and then either ask investors, find out from presenting it to the experts if it's the right thing through a short. So that's one of the projects where I'm working on. I have multiple projects. I've decided that my story, I'm going to go with a short instead of the other because I just make changes on a fly. But back to you, Julie.
All right, so let's get into some of these ingredients for success. Can we, do you want to say something and follow up?
Sure. I just wanted to bring up and talk about full circle. So I met with a wonderful woman on Clubhouse, I guess when it started 3 or 4 years ago. And what happened was I was sharing a little piece of my story, like I shared with you. And this woman, Stephanie Arnold, who had a near-death experience, she has a Netflix show called 37 Seconds. She came off her mic after I shared a tidbit of this, and she said to me, "Oh my God, when are you writing your book?" And the reason I bring that up is because I always say she was the mustard seed that was planted seriously to give this book life. And she said to me, she said, "You will not only write a book, this will be a movie." So, and what's pretty ironic about all that is I was working with a writing coach initially, and things just didn't work out between us. So I had my manuscript, but I had nobody to edit it. And once again, good old Clubhouse comes into play. And I met my editor, David Strauss, and I lost my train of thought. Completely gone. Whew.
Oh, well, you want to turn it into a movie. You're
so
gonna turn...
Yes. So I reached out to Stephanie Arnold initially when I had my first writing coach, and she was busy. So then I reached out to her again when I was with David Strauss, and she said, "I cannot say no to you." So Stephanie Arnold wrote my foreword, and that was like the biggest gift because she planted the seed. I watered the seed grew, and she wrote my foreword. So it was pretty incredible.
So let's just get
share that.
into, I think there's like a little bit of a delay here. Nancy, the main point of the episode today is about building resilience. And tell us a little bit about that. We talked about the 3 different ingredients for success: new perspectives, relationship editing, and self-care. Just give us a little bit of background on what it means for you to build resilience and how you help people build resilience.
So I always tell people there's 2 different versions of me, and there's the victim version of me before my stroke, and there's the victory version of me after my stroke. I was only able to have the strength to build enough resilience after experiencing a stroke. And the stroke for me was a gift because it completely changed my mindset, my perspective on life. And I think, unfortunately, when we're faced with struggles and trauma, it's very easy to be in the victim mindset. And it's, for everyone, it's different, but it's not until you get to a place like that where you choose to become resilient. And I guess the key word there is choose, because we can always choose to stay the victim. And I chose not to be the victim anymore. I chose to be resilient. I chose to push forward. I just started meditating 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. It's made a huge change in my life. I have a very strong faith, a very strong relationship with God. And all of this comes into play. I try to exercise twice a week. And any kind of negative or unhappy situation in my life, I always try to find the silver lining. And my kids are actually sick of it. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so positive." And it's not positive. It's just, I always tell people, like, it's very easy to even just be the victim when you're in traffic and you're late for your daughter's wedding or whatever. And I sit back and I take a moment and I say, you know what? Okay, I'm in traffic. I'm late for my daughter's wedding. Maybe God saved me from a car accident up ahead. Who knows? So that's really I guess, to answer your question, for me, being resilient is changing my mindset and changing my perspective.
Wow. And it's really, once you get resilient, you're unstoppable. There's no one that can stop you once you're resilient, because whatever's thrown your way, you still keep going without allowing your mindset. And this is one of the biggest things people don't understand. In our minds, if we think we can't do something, we'll never do it. Doesn't matter even if you say it's on my goal list. When we say we can do it, and even things don't look like they're going to happen, that's just a test. And you got to be resilient just to move forward. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And I truly use that in everything. I mean, my husband will come to me and say, oh, one of my really good guys quit, or one of my really good guys got fired. And I said, you know what? Okay, it sounds awful. Sit in it. You got 5 minutes of a pity party, and then get out of it and realize, you know what? Maybe God, fired that guy, or that guy quit because that's going to give you a ring up on the ladder, and he would have been in your way. I just always think of it differently. My perspective has completely changed.
Yeah. It's really hard to let things go, especially things that are really hurtful. I just had something recently happen to me. I'm still salty about it.
If you do that, then you're going to attract the rest of the stuff that's going to go wrong for you.
Yeah, I know. I got to get it. Maybe I should just confess it here and just get rid of it, right?
No. Instead of even thinking about that, allow your universal manager to handle it. That's from Abraham Hicks. Allow that universal manager to take care of it. Hand it to that universal manager. They'll take care of it. And you move on and put another thought in your brain.
All right, let's.
And sorry, Julie, I bet you any amount of money, if you laid that problem on my lap, I would have you see the better side of it.
Oh, really? We'll do that after this call. After this call, Nancy, I'm going to lay it down.
Okay.
I'm going to do that. All right. Tell us a little bit more. What about removing toxic people? We talked a little bit about that. How does that help you build resilience?
So that's a good one. Again, and there are two versions of me, the one before the stroke and after the stroke. And it's funny because when you have no self-worth, or you have no self-esteem, no confidence, that's the energy you put out, and those are the people that you attract. And it's happened organically, and I love that word. It's happened organically. The stronger I get, everyone in my circle is as strong or stronger than I am. And if you are toxic, or you have, actually, I cut people out at the knees to a fault, because if there's even just the littlest red flag, I'm like, sorry, gotta go. I don't have time for it. And that goes for family, friends. This sounds awful, but I don't care who you are.
Amazing.
I don't care who you are. My life's too short, and I've been shown that. So it's very easy for me to cut out toxicity.
Well, you literally were shown that. I love those near-death experience stories. I don't know how you feel about them, Neil, but I really like hearing about those.
Yeah, there's a motivation to it for sure.
Yeah, it's
but I agree with you, cutting out those toxic people, or just not allow it. Just kind of figuring out there's a positive reason for it. It depends. If friendships, forget it, they're gone. But if it's business, you just got to learn to handle it. It was interesting. I was listening to a podcast and talked about, well, I'm dealing with this client, their problem, and all those different things. And well, you just deal with them. You deal with them, and that's it. And you got to deal with it. Not complain about it. Just keep rolling with the punches. And it's always
absolutely
the best advice.
I've also found that even the old friendships that not so much that I tried to keep, but we don't have anything in common anymore. And they, like I said, they just organically fall off. So my circle is small, but it's powerful.
I love that. And the last ingredient is, let's talk about self-care. You do a lot of self-care, Nancy.
Oh, I do a lot of self-care, and I just got home from acupuncture.
There you go.
And
Nancy's
I cleared
doing
all
it.
my chakras, and they put the light at my head and at my throat and at my heart. And I had needles coming out of all aspects of my body. And like I said, I do 5-minute guided meditation from YouTube in the morning, 5-minute, same thing at night. I go to the gym. I spin twice a week. I try to do 3 times, but twice is usually sweet spot. Yeah, I go to therapy on Thursdays because I still need therapy for inside the brain. And I'm really taking care of every aspect. I'm trying to eat better. It's really hard because I love cookies and cakes and muffins and all that good stuff. But it's a work in progress. It's a journey, just like my career journey, my health journey, my mental health, my emotional health. So I'm doing awesome.
I love it. I love it. I love the ingredients for success, for building resilience, getting a new perspective, gaining that self-awareness, removing the toxic people from your life, and building those self-care habits to help you get to that next place. Nancy, how can our audience find out more about you?
So you can, my email is strokeoflovebook.com, and you can order the book there. You can find out a little bit about it before you order it. And you can reach me on there also, strokeoflovebook.com.
Neil, any final thoughts?
No, final thought. I mean, it's just if you can listen to her perspective, you shouldn't complain about anything. There you go. That's the end of that's the story right there. But I think that's where the thing is, those when bad things happen, you let those thoughts, release them, move on to happy thoughts, and there you go, and things you're looking forward to.
Well, everyone, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for listening to the Stay on Course podcast special edition with Neil Haley. Nancy Spano, you're changing the world. You're an amazing human, and I'm so excited to be on the journey with you and see what's next. Thanks for being on the show today.